All right, why does the mushroom always invited to the party?
Why?
Because he's a fun guy. All
I
right,
hope
welcome.
you're saving that one for me.
I was. That was the joke that I had saved for my buddy
Hmm.
Ronnie. Everybody, welcome Ronnie Fujita, hammer
Hey
stamp
guys.
bowler. This is your first year actually going out full time on pro, isn't it? Like all the events?
No, I've been out for a couple of years. It depends. So I've been out on tour for about 3 or 4 years now. But I don't know if there's a single year where I've bowled every single event. Like I might take off like the TPC one year, or some years. A lot of times there'll be like a break, and we'll go to like Delaware or something like that. And a lot of times I'll take those off. A lot of the East Coast swing. It just really depends. This year I took off the first month, and then I've done everything after that.
Yeah, taking off the East Coast makes sense because you're from California and that's a hike in itself, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And usually, I this is the first year I didn't drive out from California, and so other years I'll drive out from California, and so it'd be, we bowl Indianapolis or something like that, or wherever it might be, and then it's like, okay, well, Delaware, and so it's like a 13-hour drive. I was like, you know what? I already made the 30-hour drive. I think I'm gonna take this week off.
How old were you when you first started bowling, Ronnie?
I was 6 years old. So, I mean, that was the first league I joined. I probably was like 4 or 5. First time I went bowling was in a birthday party, actually. Yeah.
So are your parents not? So you just are your parents not bowlers?
Not really. My dad he bowled in high school, for his high school team, and then he'd randomly bowl leagues. But it would just depend. I don't know. When I first started, I don't know if he was bowling a league then. But definitely after I started bowling, he started getting back into it where, he was in a league, and he would travel with us a lot and bowl a lot of junior adults and stuff like that.
He would travel with you when you would bowl junior golds.
Well, yeah, with junior golds, but I would bowl with him for like junior adult stuff, especially like handicap stuff. He was probably like a
Oh, junior
170,
adults.
180 when I was younger. Hmm. Yeah, so
I thought you
he
said
bowled.
junior
I think
golds.
it
I
was like a
was thinking.
190 and oh yeah. So but he did take me a lot of junior golds.
Um. So, did you play other sports when you were growing up?
Not really. So I mean, like I didn't play a lot of organized sports. So when I was growing up, a lot of it was bowling focused. I started, yeah, like I said, it was bowling leagues when I was 6, and then I started bowling tournaments when I was 7 or 8. And so I would bowl. I would be in like baseball stuff and things like that. But a lot of times it would be like summer programs or whatever it might have been. But it's usually not like a full-time commitment. And then when I was in high school, I played basketball and golf.
So I ask this of a lot of bowlers. When did you know you were good at bowling? So I'm going to change your question. Um, because you said you bowled tournaments at 7. At the age of 7, were you better than most kids your age, or did you just like the competitiveness?
Hmm. So it's hard for me to say because when I was 7, I was absolutely massive. When I was 7, I was probably like 5 foot, like 4 foot 10 at 7. So for me, I definitely had a competitive advantage in the youth leagues. Uh, there's one term when I bowled when I think I was 11, and it was a 12 and under, and they literally stopped and ID'd me for the 12 and under. And they're like, "You don't have an ID?" I was like, "I'm 12. I'm 11." Like, "No, I don't have an ID." Like, and so we'd have like three people come down and be like, "Yeah, he's 11." Yeah.
And
So
send
I
your
would
parents
say,
home to get your birth certificate.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I was like, I can give 'em, like my school safety card from fourth grade.
That's
But yeah,
hilarious.
so I mean, I was pretty good back then for the age, just because, I was just a lot bigger, a little easier. I mean, I was on probably 13 pounds when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, my son has that. He's not a big kid, so he has that disadvantage. He's 10, and I think we just finally got him up. What's the lowest axe with the little bell in it? Is that the 12 maybe or 11? I think 11 they put one in.
Yeah, I
I think
think
that's what we just
11,
bumped
and
him
then I
to.
think it switches at 14. It
Yeah, whatever
switches
the
to the
little
cord.
tiny bell is.
Hmm.
I think the 789s I think don't have anything. It's just cover
Yeah,
stop. And then I think maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, and then maybe 11 and 12 and 13 have the little bell, the little tiny bell.
yeah. I'm not sure which weight, but yeah, they have one, and then they switch it to the full one once it gets up to 13 or 14.
Yeah, he tries to throw my daughter's Vibe. She has Arctic Vibe, and then of course the Dark Web, which is the best ball ever made.
Dark Web is really good. Can't argue with it.
Dark Web and Obsession Tour are the two best balls ever created on this earth.
I just drilled my last Obsession tour like 3 months ago. Yeah, it was my last one I had in stock. So I'm
The
probably
the
going to be on the
maroon
hunt
one,
for
right?
those.
The maroon one.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
one of my favorite balls of all time.
and statistically, the Envy Tour, and not statistically, but per the numbers, the Envy Tour and the what is it, the Effect Tour
Yeah,
are
Effect Tour.
supposed to be mathematically the same as the Obsession Tour, and it's just not. Like I have
Yeah.
a soft spot in my heart for the Obsession Tour.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because the Envy Tour is my other favorite one of the last like 5 years, but there's definitely a noticeable difference. For me, the Obsession was a little stronger overall, and then a lot more forward when it comes off the end of the pattern. And then the Envy Tour was a lot rounder, a lot more shape. And so
Mhm.
usually, actually, I had both in my bag. And so like when the Obsession was a little too forward off the end of the pattern, I would switch to Envy, and I just loved having them both in my bag, to be honest. But yeah, they're awesome.
This year, obviously, we bowled together. Well, we didn't bowl together because we were on different squads, but at the Masters, and without being negative, the pattern that they ran didn't really allow the use of a bunch of different balls. But do you find events like that a little bit more fun when you can throw some balls that aren't within the past 2 years?
Yeah, I personally do. There's a It just depends on, I guess, for a lot of people, what they like to throw. I mean, a lot of the tour guys, they'll just stick with the newer stuff because that's what they've been using. That's what they've been throwing a lot out here since with the regulations. And then at the Masters, it's middle of the season a lot of times, and so the guys are really comfortable with they've already been throwing what they know. But for me, I have a soft spot for,
Plastic.
yeah, plastic. Yeah, man. But the one thing about plastic for me is I actually liked, because, there's always the trope of like, man, equipment's just so good that, it makes everyone strike so much more. And then it's like, you get onto like the professional level where they get an event or two where they throw plastic and they average 240 with a plastic ball. I mean, it does have weight block, but for most of the ones that were thrown, or the mixes. And
Yeah,
then, but yeah,
I'm not
it's
saying it
just
would have made a
it's just
difference for
interesting.
me, but I definitely have a Black Widow visible, an axe, and a spy in my rack on my rack in my garage that I didn't bring up to Michigan with me because who would have thought, right?
Yeah, who would? Yeah, like I
Lesson
mean,
learned.
and then if you have a, and that's the kind of the part for the masters that's hard, because they don't tell you the patterns, and then you go out there and you're kind of just guessing at what's going to be out, and so there's definitely a little more advantage for the guys who are touring, because you have a little more access to the truck, and practice session you can kind of see what works or what some of the guys were doing. And I think that pattern too were, it's kind of the tough spot for the USBC because they were planning on no urethane, and that pattern was tricky when you're throwing reactive balls because there's just so much friction, and then they just couldn't anticipate people are just going to throw plastic. And
Yeah.
especially in a house like Thunderbolt that has so much friction up front already, it actually made them just so much softer than most years, just because of the tool that was able to be used on it.
Yeah, I talked to the reps about that because I was like, dude, like, I talked to Mike Wolf and asked him, like, how do you even practice for this? And he said, you can't. He said that you just can't. And, we were talking about plastic balls, and I think they only had 8 on the truck. Like, they didn't anticipate
Hmm.
the need for it.
Oh yeah.
I think they had to call the local pro shops and get them to borrow like, hey, we'll return them for you. Just bring us every accent plastic ball that you have because we need them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of probably the tough spot for Storm to be in, because their factory's so much farther away.
Oh, yeah.
Since it's in Michigan, it's a little favored towards us and um, you know, and Motive because they're just headquartered a couple hours
Yeah.
away. So it's a lot easier to be like, hey, yeah, just give us everything you have right this second, and then we'll give you stuff in the next day or two. You know,
Yeah.
and that's kind of there's always a kind of thing to that where uh, just the equipment matters so much on tour, especially because a lot of the guys are just very good at bowling. So it's a lot harder to overcome bad ball shape or bad ball reaction because there's a lot of really good players. In the Masters, 15 games, you don't really have a lot to give up. You don't really, you have a bad block. It's really hard to overcome like a bad block.
Yeah. I started with the 162 average for the first day.
Oh yeah,
At that point, you're not even fighting for a check. You're just fighting to not be on the last page.
yeah. It's just at that point you're like, all right, let's get some, let's just get some good games in, feel good about this tournament.
Yeah.
Bad days happen. The one nice thing about the Masters, if you're a bracket person, is they have the half under. I think this year they did a third too, bottom third, bottom half. And so, going to the last day, I think they just did the bottom third this year for the first time. But usually it's the last day, it's bottom half. So if you're having a bad tournament, you're like, well, I'm in that bottom half category. I mean, can do some brackets there.
I'm not going to mention any names, but I do know on the last day, one of my buddies absolutely whacked him and didn't get into any brackets. He only got into the eliminator.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
That
Yeah,
could have been a few $1,000s right there.
yeah, yeah. Some buddies told me it's like, hey man, how much you make? Like just the check, and they're like, what?
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, with how the first day went for me, and then the fresh of the second day, it was just, it's like, all right, well, it's probably not going to be my tournament, and then made some adjustments there, and yeah, luckily, I mean, it kind of worked out for the caching, but yeah, that was one of those ones where like, damn, I should have just got in brackets.
I'm sure you still made it through. You made something off the eliminator, didn't you? Did you do okay in the eliminator, or did you not even get through
I think I broke even with
that?
because I don't think I won a high game pot, and so I was in for like 50 and got back 60, maybe $70.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually the day earlier, I think I took second in the eliminator, third eliminator. So I actually did better the 90 over block than I did in the 170 over block.
Well,
Just how it goes sometimes
at least
when you're in pots.
that's always the goal. You bowl for. I mean, the goal is to do really well, but if you can bowl for free,
Yeah,
that's what makes it fun.
yeah. Especially when you're touring because it's everything kind of adds up. So it's like one of those things where if you can, have those tournaments and you're, breaking even, it's a huge win instead
Yeah.
of, those things start piling up. You have a bad month to start. You're like, next time you're like, oh, well, actually, I can't do a minimum cash now. I might probably need to get into this match play.
Yeah.
Get
Make
the swing a
couple
little loose
extra
for the
bucks.
next couple
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah. It's a slightly bigger Airbnb this week. I was all right. Need to do a little better.
Did you say you guys have a bigger Airbnb, or you just mean hypothetically?
Just in general, like
Oh,
when every week is like a little different in terms of like the costs, and so
Is it
So
just you
sometimes just
three,
him.
or does somebody else pick up with you guys sometimes?
It's just us three right now, but it depends. KP was roomless for the first half of this touring season, and then it's always been kind of depending on who's out. Um, yeah, and also all the stuff like the house a while ago. So, and it kind of switches. A lot of guys, there's some guys who roam the same guys over and over again, and there's some who kind of switch it up, or depending on what driving situation is are and stuff like that.
Yeah, CJ said he's rooming with Brandon Monta, Chris and Ryan, Eric. I know Eric. I know he's rooming with Eric because I was talking to Eric through his camera, through his phone, and he was talking to Sarah. Um, and I said, dude, how annoyed does Chris get with all you guys? Because they all just graduated college, right? Every one of them. And I said,
Hmm.
how annoyed does Chris get with you guys just hammering him with questions? Because I know I would be for a college kid getting like one
Oh
of the
yeah.
best minds in the game.
Oh yeah. Especially being out here where it's that's like one of the fights is just getting that knowledge and that experience. So to have someone like Chris around, it's like I mean I would be
Yeah.
like
Like every
yeah
night
like
at dinner, like, so what do we do next? What do we do next? You know?
yeah.
Well, tell me everything you know and just keep absorbing
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. And luckily Chris is really good about that. So and he likes uh, educating and sharing information. So, I can see him really enjoying that, especially since, he just announced his retirement. And so being able to share knowledge and experience with a lot of the up and coming guys, I'm sure he does love that.
Is he not? I did hear something about him retiring. Is he not up at the World Series right now bowling it?
Um, I didn't see him. I think he is
Now
bowling
you're
the
gonna
senior.
now you're gonna make me want
I
to
mean,
look.
he's in town, so I think he's bowling the senior. I haven't seen him this week. I didn't see his name on the sheets. And so I think that was the TOC was technically his last um, official tournament for the swings. So I'm sure he'll bowl a lot of other tournaments. I
Yeah,
think this is like technically he just wouldn't be touring full time. He'll probably
yeah. I'm
still
thinking
pop
he's
in
still
for a
gonna
lot
bowl.
of the
He's
events.
still so good, dude.
Yeah,
He's lightning
yeah,
sharp, man.
oh yeah, yeah. He's still got it, and it's for guys like that. It's really hard because they're just so dominant for so long that he has a competitor spirit. So I'm sure he's still gonna pop in for a lot of the events.
He is
But he's just
not on the he is not on the roster for the World Series. I guess he's probably going to do some of the senior stuff and then jump in and ball rep Ryan a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense because the senior swing's about to start up, and this is actually like one of the first portions of it. So, for him doing all the senior stuff, it would make a little more sense just to go around that side, especially since he can stay in the same city and still room with Ryan and do all that stuff. Yeah, it was man, because we were in Portland and Ryan and Barney made a run at the show, and I was like, man,
Dude, I
come on.
wanted it. I
I
wanted it
know. I was like,
so
come
bad.
on, give it to him.
Like father son, dude.
Hmm.
Well, and then once they did, and then you got to root for the Lavery boys. Like Sean Lavery sparring his brother coming back. Like that would have been cool too.
Yeah, that was
Was
awesome. Yeah, there's so many
any
cool storylines
yeah.
going into it, and we're just like, man, this is going to be a great show.
Yeah, anytime you have family bowling together, like you might only get that shot once in your life or twice in your life. Like you have to root for that, even if you don't like the people. Like you can
Yeah,
hate the people and then still be like, "Damn, dude, brother, ooh, might have to cut that." Brothers, uh, you know, that's pretty awesome.
yeah. It's especially this, with Anthony not touring this year. That was like a really cool storyline going on. That comes off and almost wins a title. The after, yeah, man, yeah, a lot of that was a really really cool show.
So
Yeah.
Do you bowl a lot outside of the PBA season? Like, are you bowling full time
Hmm.
all year round?
I bowl full time. I do a lot of the amateur circuit too. So, travel for it's mostly the like NDOs and things like that. Oklahoma, USA. So I'll go and bowl stuff like that or fly to I'm in right outside San Francisco, so I'll fly to Portland or Arizona for like the 10Ks or 5Ks.
Oh,
Luckily,
nice.
I'm not too
I
far
get
from
those
Vegas.
things. I get them in my Facebook request, like not ads, but like people send them to you, like, hey, there's an event.
Hmm.
Oh man, that's so far away, dude. Like all
Oh
the
yeah.
Vegas events. There's so many events out
Hmm.
there in Vegas. It's just so far.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like I used to live in St. Louis for a long time, and so that was like the one adjustment that was hard, where it was like every weekend you could just bowl pretty much anything in the Midwest,
Oh
as
yeah.
long as you're willing to drive like a decent amount. And so like California, you have certain events that come out, but you only have like pretty much a small area that you can bowl the tournaments in, and then everything else is like a 6 hour drive or 8 hour drive. So it's like going to LA for me is 6 hours. So if they have anything in LA, it's just like, all right, well, I need to be out for 7 hours driving both ways on a weekend if I really want to bowl down there.
Is that for 6 hours
Or
plus traffic or just actual 6 hours?
oh, so like being from California, you just avoid traffic time at all cost. So it's like, you'll look at the map and be like, well, okay, well, what time do I have to leave to be in this spot at noon and to be back in this spot by 4 p.m.? Because, you know, I live, let's say from Pier 39, I live maybe 13 miles, 12 miles. Um, but, and it's probably 4 in the morning, it's probably 15 minutes. But from Pier 39 at 5 p.m., I probably live an hour and a half in time.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
like, yeah, getting down there, impossible probably. It would just be, yeah. So it's like, I'm just not going that route. Yeah, so that's kind of the same thing. So if you had in traffic where you just have to leave a tournament on let's say like a Monday or Friday at 4, yeah, you're just tripling your time through that area. So if normally it takes 20 minutes, just count it for an hour, and yeah.
I was trying to look up when is your last event in the when is your last event that you're bowling within the PBA this year? Like here, Midwest, I should say.
So for like the even like the regionals,
No, no, no. Like the actual PBA tour.
oh, this
When's
the,
the
the World
final
Series is
event?
it. Well, so technically they just the World Series was it, but they just added Norm Duke in Pennsylvania. It's in 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
I was gonna say let's try to put together Ozark team before you leave. That's like 10 hours away from me here. I think. I don't know. I went and bowled it last year.
Oh, an Ozark team.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I haven't bowled that tournament in a long time. It's been like 6 years for me. I actually that's like one of my favorite tournaments. But yeah, I'm gonna be back, and I'm not coming out for the Duke, unfortunately. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
you're leaving. So you're
another
leaving right
regional.
after World Series.
Hmm.
Well, if you
Hmm.
decide to come back, let me know, and we'll try to put something together.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
scoot Brad.
I'm
I'll
in.
scoot Brad on the way because he's in St. Louis. Is that him right behind you?
Anyways, yep,
Oh, what's up,
that
buddy?
is a past champion.
He
So
can. Hey, he can pick me up on the way.
yeah,
What are you doing? Hi, buddy.
I mean,
Yeah, you sound good. He can. Hey, he can pick me up on the way.
yeah,
What are you doing? Hi, buddy.
I mean, normal. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, you sound good.
All right, it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now Sherman can hear you.
What
Hi,
up?
Kyle. Look, I'm like leaning out, like I can actually see around here.
How
What's
we
up,
doing?
dude?
Not much. We're nursing it back and editing a thumbnail right now.
How's your hip? I saw you went 5 games and you were crushing it there for a minute.
Yeah, I was crushing my lumbar spine. That's what I was doing.
Oh, was it your hip again?
Nah, it's mainly my back. Like it's kind of all related, but it's having some back issues. But we're feeling a little bit better. I'm slightly optimistic for this week.
Have you practiced yet? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I practiced. I won't know. I don't know if I felt good, but I did feel better than I did at the TOC, I think.
Just get you a bottle of ibuprofen and some bowling candy, dude, the whole time.
I wish. I wish it was that easy.
I was telling Ronnie we need to put an Ozark team together.
Damn, me and Ronnie won that tournament.
Yeah. Past team champions.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. With Chris Prather, who we just had to carry.
Yeah. Hard carry.
KP's gonna be like, I saw the stream. Carried.
Yeah.
What did he throw like 840 or something? Or did you actually carry him?
I think that year he won all events.
Oh.
And that was him defending his year before's all events title as well.
Oh, that's pretty slick.
He went back to back all events for that tournament.
Yeah, you might have won handicap all events too.
I think he just won everything. I think they just gave him every award humanly possible.
Like, all right, all the money goes to JP.
Yeah, that year might have been the most impressive bowling I've ever seen.
Yeah, but also didn't have a companion team.
Yeah, that helped out. Yeah, KP was throwing rockets up fourth arrow at the head pin dead straight. And that year, his I think he had front 6, 8 of the 9 games.
Wow.
Yeah, just throwing a hard fade at pretty much the head pin, and literally just
Just like his haircut.
Like the Bradley shot, Kyle?
hard fade.
What's that?
I said, was it like the Bradley shot that year? With a little more hook?
No. Are you talking about for how Prater was playing the Bradley?
Yeah, you're saying like up 4. Sounds dreadful.
No, yeah, he's standing probably like 30 and aiming, 27, and his ball was just literally just going dead straight at the head pin. He was throwing like probably 20, 21 on every shot. And literally just did not miss his target for about 2 days.
That's awesome.
And they were dead walled. Like you could just throw whatever you wanted. And he was like, yeah, I don't really want to hit that game where I'm going to shoot at 220 because I transitioned out of the ball I was throwing. So I'm just going to throw a hard ball at the head pin.
Let me tell you, that man is good at throwing it hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he just seems to hit every trick, dude. I just want to go bowl with him for like a month and just learn. Just watch what he does and see if I might be able to pick one thing up.
Yeah, it's I'm sure he can teach you a couple things. It's hard because he throws it so good that you're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
Yeah. You think you're doing it, and then you just look like a walrus, you know, like.
He'll be explaining something to me. I was like, man, I don't think my body can physically do that. I can't get my arm swing go straight, let alone everything else.
Looking through my questions, I want to talk to you about some bowling here. How about what's your week like? Like tournament week like outside of bowling. What do you guys do? Or what do you do even leading up to the bowling events?
So it depends. Let's say if we're talking about for tour, let's say it's like gearing up for like the first tour event. It's a lot of planning because there's a lot you have to take care of and stuff like that. And so after the scheduling is done, for me, I like to be outdoors as much as possible. So I like to hike and do stuff like that, go to the beach. I live near the water, so go down there, probably spend time with friends. And then, but also for me, like in terms of bowling wise, I spend a lot of time in the shop. I'm a big equipment prepper, always messing with some thumbs or drilling some balls or doing whatever it is.
Are you a numbers guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I'm gonna put the pin somewhere around here and then roll it and see where it fits in your bag.
So I like
I like doing both for me, where like because I kind of know where my numbers are,
Yeah.
and so I just kind of know roughly where the layouts come out, and so for me, we'll I'll do dual angle if people like it, but for me, I kind of just have all right, I'm just gonna put the CG here or the mass bias here, and then put the pin over here, and it's like we should get a rough shape on it.
I've gotten pretty close on some of my ASIMs. Like let me think about this. Where my track, so I'm over like 5 3/4 and up 3/4. So my track's already right here, right? Like maybe a 1/4 inch out. And so some of my ASIMs, I'll get to where it'll be like, just touching the edge. And I'm like, dang, got to rotate this one a little bit more because I'm about to clip.
Yeah, you start hearing the thumping. It's like, well, all right, maybe maybe I'll add a little bit here.
Yeah. So, let's see. You've been out for a few years, and you went to bowling. You went to college for bowling, right? Or not college for bowling, but you bowled in college, I should say. Do you feel like the sport has changed since you started college bowling to now?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, one, the impact of two-handed bowling obviously is the biggest. Pretty much every kid under 20 is two-handed now. A vast majority of them. It's almost an inverse of when I was in college. There was definitely two-handers, but the amount, it's literally almost been a polar inverse of just how many two-handers at that age versus how many one-handers.
Yeah, but I know how you bowl. You can still rip the cover off a bowling ball yourself.
Well, I'm gonna have to bowl all these kids. Try to keep up with them as much as possible. But yeah, and then the other thing would be equipment. A lot more urethane. When we were in college, I think our senior year is right when the purple first came out, and we were on hammer staff. And so even then, like there were some decent balls I think that were out at that point. But yeah, as soon as that thing came out, everyone was like, well, just throwing that for everything. And so ever since, yeah. I mean, it's pretty good.
Still my favorite.
Oh yeah. That was we would go to nationals and bowl the BJ and be like, you know what, we got the purples with us. We'll be all right.
Yeah, I bowled a little scratch tour around, and they're like, "What are you bringing?" I'm like, "I tell them, like it doesn't matter because I'm going to throw the purple." They're like, "It's 46 feet." I'm like, "Yep, I'm throwing the purple." He'd be like, "The next one," they'd be like, "What are you bringing?" I'm like, I tell them, like, "Doesn't matter. I'm throwing the purple." They'll be like, "It's 38 feet." I'm like, "Yep, it doesn't matter. From 35 feet to about 47 feet, it's still the purple. You just change the surface a little bit, move a little bit left, move a little bit right. It's still the purple. Just hit it."
Yeah. I mean, during that, you should just bowl on tour at that point. During that time, that was Richard.
And I like the black one, but it's just not the same. It's just the black one is great. And the crown urethane is great too, but it just hooks a little bit earlier. If I could figure out how to maybe drill a weaker pin so it doesn't flare as much, that might actually be close to the purple.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of the issue, not issue at urethanes, but a lot of people put higher pins closer to their paps because they want it to be smoother.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're also doing that, you're also making it read way faster.
Mm-hmm.
And so you also kind of have this thing where you want it to be smooth, but if you're stacking them that high, then it's going to read the fronts way quicker. And so the stronger urethanes are going to get offline a little bit and then start fading down lane. So if you want something like, you might actually want to go like a little farther down on your layouts, so you can kind of keep it online a little longer, especially on the stronger ones.
Yeah, that's how I felt the crown. The crown because the crown flares so much, just like new surface. It's like 2 or 3 feet past the arrows. It just wants to go. Like, you catch yourself like doing funny things and
yeah, you just put your elbow into it. You're like, all right, well, I got to move 4 left, and one shot ends, and you're like, well, now I need to make it hook from 4 left.
Yeah, but the black one's good. I wish they would outlaw the purple, but black one's good.
Yeah, it's with the harder covers on everything. There's just, I mean, the black one is for what it is awesome, and it's so funny because like imagining having like a black hammer like 10 years ago, like when we were in college, um, and they'd be like, yeah, that ball's all right. It would be insane because that ball is so much better than pretty much every other urethane that's came out, but the purple. And so but knowing how good that purple was in like 2018, 2019, it's funny that like every other urethane, no matter how good it is, you're like, well, it's not the purple. Like, and we kind of joke about that a lot.
Yeah. So when you go to urethane, out on the PBA tour, I know you're going to say that you pick what strikes the most, but is there a length of pattern that you would not throw urethane, or is it always an option to try?
So I am probably the worst person on tour to ask this question because I notoriously don't throw urethane. Um, but so I mean I like and so like for me I'm like always just trying to go reactive. Um, so I will say that it depends on the person in terms of what they're comfortable with, what they want to throw, and then for a lot of it is like we were saying earlier, like those guys are really good out here. So you always kind of want to do your A game. You need to try to you know perform well in the lanes and do what they're giving you. You need to kind of adjust to that, but you're always trying to get to your A game, what you're comfortable doing, because you're just gonna. That's the way you kind of compete with a lot of the guys. So for me, if I can get away with getting left and shaping a ball, that's just what I'm better at, then I'm going to figure out a way to do that. And if I think I can't get left and throw it right, kind of like the Masters in a way, where it's like they're very cliff left to right, then I'm throwing urethane. So then that's my personal because I don't really like it as much. So if I can't throw reactive, then I'm going to throw urethane. And so for other people who love urethane, it's the exact opposite. It's like, I can get my urethane ball to hook early and I can get it to, get up when I miss it right, and I can get it to lay off when I miss a little left. It's like, okay, if I can do that, then I'll worry about ball reaction later because I just want to throw urethane and I'm really good at that. So everyone kind of has their own little things they look for on their own ball shapes that'll kind of push them into certain equipment that they want to see. But generally, the shorter, thicker oil up front, usually that's when urethane is going to be thrown. And then anything over like 41, like 41's right where like people probably stop throwing it as a whole, 40 to 41. And then 42, 43, like people still throw it. It's just not as prevalent as is like 36, 37.
So how do you choose your balls for different conditions, or how do you surface them up? How do you do?
For me, it depends. So for like on tour, we obviously know what patterns are coming out, and there's a lot of depth on it. What type of oil it is, what the volume is, what conditioners we're using, what kind of lanes are used in the house, if they're HPLs or Pro lanes. So for me, I base it mostly off of shape. And so if I want something to be a little more responsive friction, or if I need something to be less responsive to friction. And so for me, when I look at my bag and what I have and need, then there's stuff that's going to be close. I'll put like a little more surface on them so they're not so responsive. And then those are probably what I'm going to throw in the beginning of my blocks. And then the stuff that is more higher responsive friction, I'll probably throw in most of my later blocks. So I kind of set my bags up in terms of like that idea and then strength.
Do you have a standard grit that you go by, or is that Ronnie's secret sauce that we can't know?
No, I use 2,000 on pretty much every ball that's not shined. 4,000 are shiny, and then I'll throw 4 shots, and then if I need more service, I just have pads in my backpack. So for me, when I go into a tournament, almost every ball I have, other than like maybe urethane and maybe like one very dull strong ball, everything's at 2,000, and then I just go from there when I'm bowling. So.
How often do you train or practice?
So I don't practice as much as I used to. I used to practice, 4 days, 5 days a week. But now, since I'm getting older, the injuries are piling up. So now when I practice, if I'm practicing, it's like 30 minutes. I turn on, I am at a Bolero, so I'll turn on 2 or 3 games, and that's it, like max when I practice. And that would be maybe twice a week.
Is that Bolero where your shop is too? Out in California?
Yep. Yeah. And so, but it depends. Like, let's say I'm in a slump, then I'm just going to practice more because I need to get out of a slump. If I'm bowling really well, then I don't need to bowl as much to maintain. It's more just practicing to stay sharp. So, but if it's fixing something or trying to work on something or anything like that, then I'll have to bowl more.
When you happen to be in a slump or just have a little bad streak, how do you overcome that, or how do you handle it?
So for me, the most important thing is finding out why, and so I can fix it. And so I try to be very introspective about that and be honest. If it's me bowling bad, if it's the lanes, if it's my equipment, if it's my fit. And so once I find that, and then I just kind of hone in on just whatever it is to fix it, just whatever the solvent is for that situation, whether it's practice or if it's trying different fits or new equipment ideas. And so, yeah, I just really try to focus on head on, and just kind of, that takes most of my focus before the next event.
So this is a loaded question, and I'm gonna ask you my question, a loaded statement. So, like there's a statement, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only been twice that I've actually left a bowling tournament in tears. And it's because when I go bowl a tournament, and it was a regional, and when I bowl tournaments, if you bowl bad, I'm happy. Like you saw me, I was at the Masters, I stunk, still happy, yay, we were bowling. But because then things that, if you're bowling bad, things that you can go home and work on, right? But when you go to a tournament and like you're letting it go and you're aiming at 15 to 7 and it's going 15 to 7 and then that doesn't work. So you throw 10 to 9 and that doesn't work. And everything you're doing, it's coming off your hand, right? Nothing is working. When you are smoked mentally, how do you overcome that? Because you don't know, like sometimes I've left tournaments and didn't learn a thing. Like I don't know what I could have done. How do you beat that?
Well, that's a tough
You ever
one.
had that?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I guess it's the same process on figuring out why. But after those are the ones where I don't even want to think about it for at least a couple hours after the tournament. I don't want to stress about it. That's like my way of trying to get away from like that feeling. And then, same kind of thing, figuring out why and trying to diagnose the problem there. But the older I get and the more I bowl, you have to just realize, though, bad days happen. So you want to get better for the next event, obviously, and you want to feel prepared and everything. But sometimes bad bowling happens, and so you kind of have to put it in perspective on everything else. Is it, worth ruining my day, my week, or my, love for the sport? And so, a lot of times the answer is no. You just want to get better, which is the part of the reason you're so upset. It's because, you feel worse, and then you feel like you didn't. No, it was just worth nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes, I feel like that value is in the perspective of that situation. the ability to have those situations and to, internalize those situations and be able to move on from them. That is a skill, especially on the PBA tour. You have to have bad weeks, and sometimes you're not going to figure out why you had a bad week. And then you just have another tournament that's really important the very next week. So being able to overcome those situations is actually a valuable skill on the PBA tour.
What part of bowling at that level, at the PBA level, or even high college competitive level, what part do you think is mental versus physical?
So I'm a big Dr. Dean guy because I live out west. So I've been seeing him since I was young. Collegiate stuff, Team USA. He has his own. He used to run his own clinics and stuff like that. So, and he has this thing saying that it's 100% physical, 100% mental. Your body has to be in it. You have to be willing to make the shots and able to, but then your brain also has to tell your body what to do and to put it in the right spot, in the right positions to win. So I would say at the highest levels, you can't, even guys who are as talented as they are out here, it's like if they're not in it mentally, then it just doesn't really matter. You're just not going. They're just going to lose too many pins. They won't be able to recover from bad shots. It's just you're going to have a bad week. And then on the other side, don't want to kick Sherman while he's down over here, but Sherman's a great example. The other side, Sherman's one of the best bowlers on tour. And if you're having body issues, if your body's sore or you can't do the things you want to do, then it doesn't matter. EJ, has a tendon problem in his wrist or forearm, he just might not be able to throw the ball as he can. It doesn't make him any less of the best bowler in the world. It just that week is probably not going to be his week because he just cannot do what he wants to do or what he's able to do.
Yeah,
EJ's probably a bad example because he probably would be able to do.
He just throw it left-handed. He'll still strike. But yeah, so I wasn't. I don't mean like Kyle's example. Obviously, Kyle has an injury that is hindering him. But I've never heard anybody say 100, and I kind of like that thought. I've never thought of it as that thought process. That's if somebody's body is firing at 100, yes, their mind still has to fire at 100. I just have never looked at it the way that you just explained it.
Yeah, and I've learned. You taught me that when I was like a kid, and that's how I've internalized everything, personally through it, and that's a big thing for me that I, have to be real. Where it's did I throw as good as I could have? Did I stay as present as I could have during this tournament? Did I lose pins from having physical issues? Did I lose pins from being frustrated, not seeing transition, or not looking at the lanes the right way because of something mental?
Two-part question. So, have you lost more pins due to lack of focus, like single pin spares, or lost more pins due to frustration that the pin was left?
For me, it's lack of focus.
Just get up there and yep, I'm probably going to make this anyway, and you just throw it, and you're like, whoops, probably should have paid attention.
Yeah, because I get frustrated, but for me, if I get the more frustrated I get, the more I feel kind of I'm upset and I need to focus more.
So it helps you.
So for me, I like to talk and stuff when I bowl, and so if I'm bowling okay, then usually it's a lack of focus, or it's more just focusing on the wrong things, where I'm focused on why I left the wrap 10 on that lane, and then since I wrapped it, I have to go shoot it, but I'm just still man, do I ball change? Do I move here? Do I soften my hand here? And then I'm not even focused on shooting my spare. I'm just
thinking about your next shot. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just too far ahead of myself, and oh well, and I might not even ball change on the next lane, the left lane. So it's like I might not even have to worry about the shot for 3 shots that I have to make, and I'm already kind of going through the process of like, is this a ball change? Is this lane bad? Compared to what I'm doing, And so for me, it's definitely lack of focus. It's just not being present for the shot that I have to make that's coming up.
So how do you stay mentally sharp? How do you keep yourself in it?
So for me, in terms of, so I like to think of it as like a macro and micro. So when you're looking at your block in the macro, like as if I look back on my block after 8 games, you can kind of pick apart a lot of those issues.
Mm-hmm.
But you really need to, and you want to have good blocks in terms of the macro. You want to have an 8-game great block. But the way to do that usually is to be present on every shot. So, you want to be focused on every shot, and you want to be very, very aware of what's going on and, on every single shot and very focused. And then at the end, you can kind of look at that as a big picture, of like, did I accomplish this goal? Did I do this? But it all starts with being there for every shot and focusing.
What motivates you to keep competing, just to keep going?
That's a great question.
You're getting deep.
I really hope you can tell me. But so for me, I feel like it's just what I know, competing at a young age. I started bowling junior gold when I was 11 or 12. And back then they didn't have divisions. It was boys and girls back then. And then, so, it's just something that I feel like it's just a part of me at this point. And the fact that I haven't, won everything or, there's not a PBA, a national title or things like that. And, I feel like they could, same thing we're talking about Barney. It's just, there's a competitiveness that you're like, well, come on, I could do this, I could do that. And so there's a level of that where it's like things are unfinished or, there's things that I feel like I can do.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw a clip because I came back from the Masters. My son's like, Dad, would you do it again? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, why? You absolutely horrible. I'm like, buddy, anybody can beat anybody at that level. Like, if there's just people that do it a little more consistently. But like Belmo said, his best year ever, he won 5 events and lost 20. So it's like ingrained in a bowler's mind that we're going to lose. Like, we're going to lose a lot. But the wins that we do are like, yes, like it keeps you trying, right?
Oh yeah. Those, especially after when you have all losses. Like the next one's even the best feeling one.
Oh, no. Next year's Masters is going to feel great when I make the show, dude.
Oh yeah. I'll be right there with you.
I hope so, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring every ball that I have. I'm gonna come like with 46 balls in my Suburban next year. My Suburban's gonna be riding like this all the way to Michigan, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna say that, and they're gonna pop up and be like, "Actually, we decided Vegas," and then you're like, "Damn."
Oh no, we get one more year.
Yeah, I know.
One more year, I think at Thunderbolt.
Yeah, one more.
So I'll be there, and in Vegas, we'll let's see how I do next year.
Yeah, run it back Thunderbolt.
Yeah, let's see how I do at Vegas next year.
I'll bring the plastic. Don't worry.
I'm bringing 3 of them. Well, at least 3 next year. I might even buy a couple more axes.
Yeah. I have a feeling this next year is going to be the first time at Thunderbolt be 45 or whatever that was. This ultra tight one.
Watch they bring out like an old school powder, like 42 feet, 17 milliliters, 1-to-1, and they make it like old school.
Yeah, people will be so mad. That burn squad is going to feel so rough.
Or like an 8 milliliter plastic ball pattern, like 40 feet flat. Just if you're gonna throw plastic, let's make it fun. 8 milliliters. That would be funny.
Yeah, that's well, they definitely need to stock plastic for that one.
What's your favorite city to bowl in? You got a favorite city?
Hmm. So for me, being on the West Coast, it's probably Vegas, just because just bowled out there as a kid, and then it's just such a great bowling city. But I will say, this is my first time to Portland, Maine, and that place is awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone was telling me, I was like, all right, well, I guess we'll see. And it's like, yeah, this is an awesome bowling city.
I mean, it sounded awesome when you even watching it on Bowl TV with the music in the background, and you could just hear people just roaring. And
Oh, they love it.
who was that gave a tour on YouTube? Was that Kyle? He was giving a tour of the upstairs in there.
Yeah,
Somebody was.
it was
I think it
Kyle.
was Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of places locked, but he was walking through. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it looked like a really cool venue.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, and we were up there watching the league finals, and it's for their big league, the one they have the banners of, and the league doesn't pay out anything. There's no prize fund, and people were so in it. Every shot, everyone's screaming. There's people like the bar. You can see the lanes from the bar. People are clapping from the bar, just watching this league. And it's just a league title, and everyone's so
But you
in it.
get your
It's
name on
awesome.
that banner, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's way more important
Yeah.
than league
Yeah.
money, dude.
Yeah. People were running them out, man. It was awesome. They're like, yeah, I just want to win this league. It's like,
I despise league bowling, Ronnie. The only reason we're about to sign up. We start next Monday. Me and my son, Kyle knows my son. He's 10. Well, we already talking about him. We're gonna bowl an adult youth league, and then in the fall we bowl a trios adult league, and he's gonna bowl that with us this year as a 10-year-old, but it's non-sanctioned. We just go bowl for fun.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, those are the leagues that it's great to bowl. Like, the ones that you really, really, cherish of all of them. I mean, I love a scratch league, but most of the leagues I remember is the leagues where I bowled with my brother or my dad growing up, like the junior adults and stuff like that. Those are ones like, man, I wish I could go back and bowl those leagues.
Yeah, he was actually going to bowl one of them here in Louisville. There's it's called the John's Traveling Sport Shot League. And I don't know if you bowled in Louisville, if you know Kingpin in Louisville.
Yeah.
It's the GM of Kingpin. He puts on a traveling league.
Oh, okay.
And it's all sport shot. And he was going to let my son bowl it. And then I backed him out. I'm like, buddy, you already get a little bit frustrated sometimes at, house shots. And I was like, you're going to go in there and average like 80 or 90. It's going to be real frustrating. And so we decided.
Yeah, especially in the rotating one. For the
Oh, yeah,
travel.
you go different houses and different patterns. And
Yeah, no matter what, those are the ones where, especially when you're a kid, it's like bad days are just bad days, because like you can learn from it, but then next you're like, I'll work on it for the next one, and then they put out a long pattern in a different house. And
yeah, and he's only a 120 or one. I mean, he's only 10, but he's 120 to 130. So he gets a little frustrated when he throws a gutter ball. I'm like, they're gonna come, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, when he does bowl league, hopefully they put out some decent stuff. Some of the Louisville houses can get a little funky, especially on the drier shots.
Most of the ones that you've probably bowled are gone. Executive is bulldozed.
Yeah, it's so sad.
And no, it's not. No.
You don't like Executive?
Hey, Hey, is he still in the room? You know who threw the last 300 ever at Executive Bowl? Bet he's in the room with you.
Is he?
I got it on video. This guy was still sitting there.
Is it him?
I was there.
No, but Brad was there. Brad was. Hey, you want to know who the last Bradley champion was at Executive?
Executive. That was
Right
a week.
there. They both of them set a record that weekend. The last,
RIP Executive. Man, what a building.
it was a fun building, but the place was like a trampoline every time you set your ball down.
Yeah, I've never done anything but the Bradley. So
Um,
I just figured it was the pattern. It was
well,
like,
Kyle had the last 300 at executive, and Brad was the last Bradley champion ever at executive.
mm-hmm.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, once they saw Brad and Kyle doing well executive, they're like, we just need to take out this place. We just need to nerve them.
Hey, I just bulldoze a multi-million-dollar business because we don't want these two to ever win again.
Yeah, there it is.
To be honest, I had a pretty soft semifinal match. If I had a tough one, I probably don't win. But
So there's a guy bowling 50 mils. It's pretty soft.
Yeah, there's no such thing as maybe you're. I don't remember who your opponent is, so I don't want to offend anybody. Oh, it was Kyle. I videotaped it. I forgot. I'm the one who videotaped that.
Yeah. Was it?
Yes, it was Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. You did have a soft one.
Yeah. That's why I realized I said I didn't want to offend anybody. Yeah, that was before I learned how to pause footage and then re-record. And so I think I uploaded like 3 hours of straight footage to a cloud and was like, here, use this. I don't think they edited all of it. They probably dumped it in the trash box.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'll have to ask Brad.
I
Brad, you got
guarantee.
footage from that one?
oh yeah,
Did he dump it? I'm sure he dumped it, dude.
bumped it.
Oh, I've learned since then how to. Obviously, I learned how to pause and then re-record. But yeah, I dumped them like 3 hours of straight footage, raw footage. It's like unusable.
Yeah, it's just the chopping and editing. It's like, well, it's 3 hour footage now. It's 5 hours of editing.
Yeah. Have you ever seen anything funny during a tournament?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, it depends on whatever it is, but there's definitely a lot of mishaps and stuff the more you bowl. Someone just hitting the rack or whatever it might be. There's, especially when you're bowling with the same guys over and over, you see a lot of different stuff.
Let's see. What's your go-to hype music?
Go-to hype music.
Should we get captions? But
I think it's Led Zeppelin. That's been the Stairway to Heaven, Kashmir. Me and Brad have been listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin on their way to tournaments this round.
All right, seeing that Led Zeppelin is a little bit older than what I'm about to tell you. I don't know if you guys got to this point in Blake's interview. Brad, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked Blake the same question. What's your hype music before you bowl? And Blake said, he said, I like to listen to some old classic rock and roll like Linkin Park. I'm like, buddy, that's like new rock to me. But I guess I'm a little bit older.
Yeah, that's just rock.
Yeah, that's just normal rock.
That
But
is
in Australia, and I was thinking he was going to say like AC/DC or something like, they're a big band in Australia.
Yeah. Like, it's got to be a YouTube fan, right? It's like, no, Linkin Park.
Yeah, that was hilarious, dude.
Good band though.
I mean, he's got a good taste.
Yeah.
Classic rock.
Backhanded compliment.
Well, I mean, I know I'm old, and he's what, 20 years old?
Yeah, he's young. I don't know how young he is.
I think he's right around 20. He's a sophomore, I think. All right, what advice would you give to a youth bowler?
A youth bowler.
Mm-hmm.
I would say just to enjoy the sport. So if your goal is to bowl in college, then, there's certain things you're going to have to do. And then If your goal is, you just want to bowl league and have friends, do all that, then there's probably like a little bit different mentality you're going to have to approach it. And it's fine to switch up, but just being able to enjoy it and then just clearly making note of what you want to do, and just kind of having just an idea of where you want to end up. I think that helps, and no matter what that avenue is, if it's competitive bowling or recreational bowling, just enjoy doing it. If you don't, then there's no point in doing it at all.
I like that.